How can you not yell at a kid if this idiot doesn't understand normally? You talk to him in a calm voice and he doesn't understand. You have to yell, right? I explain that people understand why they're yelling. Well, they feel it. They don't stop, but they feel it. I mean, we use words, we use meanings to affect people. When we yell, we affect even more. But it's traumatic. So when we want to oblige a child, to make them do something, to force or stop them, that is, to influence them, we start shouting, "Come on, I told you to go." Well, for example, jerk. So we start insulting. I'll explain that later. And he came up, he didn't want to go. I told him in a clear language, "Come here," he didn't go. "Come here," he didn't go. "Come here," I said. He came. Whoa. You got that quick effect. He did what you wanted him to do and what you couldn't get him to do with a quiet voice. Did you get it? Yes, you did. Why did you succeed? You scared him. You psychologized him. It's a psychological trauma. A little one. A psychological crack. Screaming is a quick fix. We don't have time, that's why we do it. It has an effect. We see that until we yell, they don't understand. That's all, and we start to use it all the time. By the way, any policeman knows that. A heavy-set man is sitting there, a real criminal. Big snout, scary, a beast, a murderer, a rapist. As soon as they start yelling at him, that's it. He goes into a hysterical state. If one policeman's mouth is not enough, they can yell in 3 mouths, in 3 throats. Screaming is traumatizing. It traumatizes criminals, adult men. And there's a little child here, have you seen? 3 years old, 2, 5, 6, even 10 years old. Their psyche hasn't matured yet. They're like this. And you're yelling at them. Do you realize what you're doing to them? I don't mean a child with an audio vector, anyone. Literally, any. I see more than half of the kids who are not in a good state with psychosexual developmental delays. They are the ones who get yelled at. And what if they have their ear as an erogenous zone? It's right here. So it's the most sensitive. Audio person. When you yell at him, it hurts. He gets sick. No, not with a heart disease, not a vascular one. No, no. Where does the ear connect to? To the psyche. It's a direct link. So when he has that erogenous zone and you yell at him, you're traumatizing his, what? His psyche. To the point where he has a disease. Which one? Mental. Mental illness. The audio vector means the most ingenious thought forms. Well, a head like this. Such a head with a forehead like this. Highly sinuous, audial. If he grows normally, he's a genius. Why is he a genius? He creates the most voluminous thought forms, genius thoughts. And the same people, but treated for schizophrenia in a madhouse. That's what the brilliant Lombroso of the Freudian school will say later. Genius or madman. We, people with the sound vector, we don't just listen, we hear subtly. And our hearing is like that. So it's absolute hearing. With such hearing, we can develop musical talent. That is, to make music. The ear also, like any sense organ, perceives sensual and conscious form. The sensual one is musical hearing. When we listen to music, we have the sensual experience. And the conscious form is when we hear the word, which is sense. And when someone yells at us, we are affected by the sensual form. So we can keep the intellect. But the sensual form starts to get sick, the psyche becomes sick. A person is kind of clever, well, with high intelligence, a famous physicist, but sick. And if you want to kill the consciousness in a child in particular, the audio one, it is better to insult them. Well, for others, the insult doesn't have much impact. Well, it does, in its own way. For example, we have a dermal kid. Well, we'll say, "You'll grow up to be a cleaner, you idiot. Everything at you is wrong and crooked." You can humiliate him, and his masochist tendencies to humiliation will develop there. Well, not really nice. A person with anal vector will suffer resentments. Well, you can live with it. But when we say insulting words to an audio person like, "Idiot, you're an idiot. Mom wanted a lieutenant in the Navy, but gave birth to an idiot." The audio person has a sensitive perception of the meanings of words, and insulting words make his psyche suffer. He tries to get rid of that suffering, same way as a visual person. So those neural connections that are responsible for learning, that is, for recognizing the meanings of words, they start to die. These are known things, by the way. They're not differentiated as we can do it here with vectors, but it's known. That some people, children, for some reason lose the ability to learn. Yeah, well, we definitely identify them as audio people. They take their pain away. They stop recognizing the meanings of words through the ear. That is, taking in information through the ear. Comes to school, listens, and doesn't understand a damn thing. So if you want a future genius to be a future villain, you should say insulting words to him. It's not so obvious what affects us more, the offensive meanings of words or shouting. Well, shouting affects the psyche specifically. And insults? In the first case, schizophrenia is insured, not 100%. There is no such thing as 100%. But a child doesn't just change overnight. You shouted at him and he's already crazy, no. Sometimes people survive, sometimes not so much. And if you say abusive words, it can lead to another problem, the problem of concentration. That is the loss of the ability to focus on external meanings. It also leads to moral and ethical degeneration, to a lot of other bad things. One can become a mass murderer because of losing the ability to empathize. There's a lot of interesting things. A lot. Learning to concentrate is a very important moment for any child, and for the audio it is a matter of life or death, to be or not to be. Because this is their function for the whole pack, their species role. Sitting in oneself at night in silence and solitude, concentrating on the disturbing sounds in the savannah, and fulfilling the species role. And on the inside, they're doing a tremendous mental work, which is concentrating the mind. That develops the brain. So if you want to develop a child's brain, teach them to focus. And how to teach a child to concentrate on other people? You don't have to. They already want to. It's their nature. Other people just don't have to yell. Focus, Larry. I told you. When an audio person listens from the outside, they experience pleasure, which means fulfilling a species role. Human beings are the pleasure principle. I'm doing what I'm given to do. And I enjoy doing what I am given to do, according to my desire and to my properties. I listen to the savannah, to the night in the silence, to the leopard, to my mother, and enjoy. And she yells at me, "Go eat a meatball, idiot." Jerk. I'd rather have an abortion than give birth to such an idiot. I'd rather you died a baby. You've already eaten my heart. You're not a child, you're a beast. It hurts me to listen to this. I'm trying to shorten it. What I was given by nature to do, to enjoy and develop, I start doing exactly the opposite. Not to listen, but to withdraw into myself. I start to avoid people. People say about me that I am not of this world, like a stupid, always walking alone. I used to communicate with my mom and dad, with Aunt Maria and Larry from next door. Now I'm cutting down on these contacts. Mom yells, I stay away from her. Daddy yells too, away from him. And Aunt Maria speaks in some idiotic voice like a nail on glass. Well, my friend Larry's like that. He's mostly quiet. If he speaks, it's uncertain and quiet, anal muscular one. So I'll get closer to him. I get selective contact. I'm starting to avoid people, limited contact. What do you mean, a person who works on autism and they don't know what audio vector is? Charlatans. What do you take from them? No, they're well-intentioned. Anyway, they're charlatans. Autism is an audio vector. It's treatable. They don't even know where it comes from. That's why it's incurable. You can heal it when you diagnose it. You diagnose, you treat. Without a diagnosis, what are you going to treat? There is no diagnosis. Actually, we have a diagnosis, 100%. Between us, the great psychiatric revolution has taken place. Just no psychiatrist, except those who have been in our training, knows about it.